What is going on, boys and girls? The final game of 2025, Arsenal versus Aston Villa at the Emirates Stadium. First versus third. If Arsenal win, we go 6 points clear of Villa. If Villa win, they go level, yes, that's right, level on points with us. This is the definition of a massive, massive game. And this is a game, I want to win every game. But this game in particular has my blood boiling. This is a game that I so desperately, desperately want Arsenal to not only win, but to put in a performance. Aston Villa are, without question, Arsenal's bogey team of recent years. I've been looking through the stats, and we have won one game in the last 5 against Aston Villa. They obviously, a matter of weeks ago now, beat us 2-1 at Villa Park with that excruciating last kick of the game winner. And there's just something about this team that we can't quite seem to work out. I think a big part of that comes down to Emery. And I think Emery, as it stands, definitely has Arteta's number. And yeah, I'm sitting here right now as a rather frustrated Arsenal fan. I think the media, the online content creators who don't support Arsenal are kind of reveling in this, I guess, period of mediocrity from Arsenal, this period of, let's just say, not looking at our most convincing best. And I'm just really starting to get frustrated by it because I can't ignore it. They're not wrong. Like, we haven't looked great. We haven't been playing well. We have been winning, but we have not been doing it in convincing fashion. And there's certain players who are not delivering. And when you tie that all together, it doesn't exactly leave you feeling like Arsenal are going to run away and win this Premier League, which is what a lot of the chatter was a mere 5-6 weeks ago. You know, when we beat Bayern Munich 3-1 at home, there were conversations about, are we the best team in the world? Are we going to win the Premier League and the Champions League? And it's amazing how quickly things can change. But I can tell you that they've changed, and potentially rightly so, because as I said, I can't really shy away with the reality of what we're facing right now as Arsenal fans. This team is in a weird state, and I don't go into this game with Aston Villa with a ton of confidence, which is really disappointing. Now, does that mean that I don't think that we can win? No. Does it not mean that I'm not going into this with full pride, full heart, Arsenal on my heart, going, we need to turn up here and put in a performance? No. But I'm nervous. I am nervous. But at the same time, I'm expecting, I'm praying, I'm hoping that this is one of those games where Arteta will have the players thoroughly fired up for. I don't care what Arteta needs to do. I don't care if he needs to bring out light bulbs. I don't care if he needs to bring out tweets from Villa players. I don't care if he needs to bring out Emery celebrating on the touch man like a wild man. Whatever he can do to put a real fire in the belly of these Arsenal players for this game, I'm all for it, because we're going to need it. If we go into kind of starting 11s, again, I'll put my hand up. I'm one of those fans, it's all about Arsenal. And then I just kind of pick and choose what I want to kind of pay attention to outside of the world of Arsenal. Obviously, when I'm leading into games, I maybe take a quick look at what's going on with the other team. I know that Matty Cash and Kamara are both suspended for this match, which is a fairly decent sized loss for Aston Villa, but I'm sure they'll find ways to recover from that. Matty Cash in particular was a bit of a thorn in our side in the game a couple of weeks ago at Villa Park, so I won't be disappointed not to see him be playing. And I think Kamara is a very underrated midfielder as well, and he's a big part of the combative nature of the way they play. So it's two pretty decent misses for Villa. But then I look at Arsenal and we're not exactly doing too much better. Mosquera's out. Calafiori looks like he's possibly going to be out. I mean, I don't know what it is with our players and injuries, but we just seem to pick up the most random injuries at the most worst of times. Did something in the warm up to the game against Brighton, and now I just have no idea when he's going to be back. So as it stands, he's looking incredibly doubtful. Timber obviously didn't play against Brighton. My understanding of that one is that was more of a case of resting him because he just needed a rest with Ben White now out injured again. So if I look at our starting 11, Raya in goal, I cross my fingers and toes that Timber's back in that right back position. For as much as Rice did a phenomenal job, we need him in the central of midfield for this game. So Timber needs to come back in for this one. Saliba at centre back. And then, look, I guess if Calafiori is not fit for this game, he's got the choice of starting Saliba and Nkapie and bringing Miles Lewis-Skelly in at left back. I'm not confident in that, if I'm being honest. I think Nkapie has been a little bit sloppy, all in all, in recent games. Not terrible, but not great. And I think Lewis-Skelly, although he looked good against Crystal Palace, I thought he was quite poor against Brighton. And so for a game of this magnitude where Villa are on such fire and playing with such confidence, I don't love the idea of having 2 out of our 4 central defenders in not kind of peak performance confidence. So as much as I think Gabriel, this sort of game for me has come probably 2 games too early for Gabriel. I know he came off the bench against Brighton, but I just don't know if he's really ready to start a game like this, but I don't think we have a choice. So if it was me, I'm going Saliba and Gabriel in the central defence, and then I'm putting Nkapie on the left because I think he's probably more up to speed than Miles Lewis-Skelly at the moment, and obviously is more of a natural left back. Zubimendi in the 6, Rice back into the 8, Odegaard in the 10, and then I think it will be as you were. I think it'll be Saka on the right. I think it will be Trossard on the left, but it also wouldn't surprise me if he maybe throws a wild card and puts Eze in there. I said in my last video leading up to the Brighton match that I feel like Eze is a little bit on the peripheral all of a sudden. I think it's a mixture of not playing that well, not grabbing his chance when Odegaard was out. I think the performance against Villa really left a bit of dirt on his name for Arteta, and so I don't think Arteta is completely convinced right now that he is deserving of a starting position in this team. I don't think Trossard was that great against Brighton, so I actually wouldn't mind, just for something different, I wouldn't mind seeing Eze playing kind of an inverted left wing type of role, kind of supporting Gyökeres and Odegaard. And then I think up front, look, I've said my piece on Gyökeres. I'm not kind of shying away from it. It's really hard for me to say that I want him to start this game. But at the same time, I don't know if Jesus is really going to offer anything more, at least from a point of putting the ball in the back of the net. He'll definitely offer more in terms of link-up play and being a little bit more creative and expansive, and kind of maybe being able to create something out of nothing. But in terms of putting the ball in the back of the net, I don't know. Gun to my head, parts of me wants to give Gyökeres one more chance. But then I also think that maybe Jesus, it's a chance for Jesus. Why not? Why not? Let's just see. So I'd go with Jesus. Stuff it. And this game is going to come down to the boxes. Villa are one of those teams, in my opinion, where they kind of have moments in a game. They definitely are a team that give the other team chances. Like, I watched them against Manchester United, and Manchester United had a lot of chances to score goals. And if they were clinical enough, they would have scored. And I think this is where this game will be won and lost. Villa will give us opportunities to score. Can we take those opportunities? Can we, for once, be the clinical team that we need to be, whereby when we get those 3-4 chances against Villa, can we put 2 or 3 of them away? Because I think Villa will score in this game. I don't think we are playing at our defensive best right now. I think Gabriel, if he starts, he's just not going to be up to speed of a match of this nature. And I think Nkapia on the left is not better than Calafiori on the left. And so I think defensively we are going to be naturally a bit weaker. So I think Villa will score, which means we need to score a minimum of 2 goals. And in order to do that, we're going to have to take our chances. And that is something that we have not been very good at for a while now. So this is a game that, like the game at Villa Park, I think there will be swings in momentum. I think it'll be really, really dangerous if we allow Villa to score first. I think Emery is a superb technician and tactician, and I think if Villa were to get the first goal, I think he would know how to kind of ride that game out. And because we're not that great going forward, I think it could be a long day for us. So I really think it's important that we get an early goal. I also think that if Villa were to score first, I think the crowd at the Emirates Stadium after recent performances would really kind of tighten up and become quite tense. And I don't think that's helpful for the team or the players. So I just think it's really important that we start well. I think I want to see the stadium full of energy, really loud, behind the team from the first whistle. And I need these Arsenal players to understand what this match means. I'm not sitting here saying that this match decides who wins the title. I'm not saying that. But if you look at the recent performances and all of the noise going on around Arsenal right now, we need one of those performances where we remind people of who we are and what we are. And this is, for me, a perfect opportunity to not only create some distance again between us and Villa, who you have to say are in a title race right now, but also just to remind people that we are the real kind of challenger for the Premier League this season, and we're the top dog. And I just want it so badly. I want this one massively. That 2-1 defeat at Villa Park a couple of weeks ago was absolutely gut-wrenching. It was the middle of the night for me here in Australia, and I thought we'd managed to kind of pull out a 1-1 draw, which I was relatively happy to take at the time. And so for them to get that last second winner was just so painful. And I think since then there's just been a negative energy around Arsenal and our results, despite the fact that we've been winning. And I think we need to change the conversation, and we need to get people kind of looking at us as they were looking at us 6-7 weeks ago. And players need to step up. Players need to step up. I don't care who it is at this point. I really don't care who is that guy to say, right, team, get on my shoulders, I'm taking us to the league. I don't care who it is. I have my opinion on who I think it should be, but at this point, I don't care. I was so heavily invested into Gyökeres. I thought he was the guy. I'd watched a lot of Portuguese football, having lived in Portugal for 4 or 5 years. I thought he was the guy. It's not looking like it is the case right now. And so if it's not Gyökeres, be it Jesus. If it's not Jesus, be it Havertz. If it's not Saka, be it Eze. If it's not Eze, be it Odegaard. I don't care. But someone needs to grab this team and drive us forward. We've relied too much on the likes of Declan Rice, Saliba, Gabriel, Timber. Yes, they will get us half the way, but we need to put the ball in the back of the net. And so these forward players need to step up now. If Eze starts, I want to see something from him. I want to see him understand that this is an opportunity to take back his starting position in the first 11. I want Odegaard to kind of continue on the type of performance he put in against Brighton, but he needs to be more physical, particularly in this match against a very aggressive, strong Aston Villa midfield. He needs to start going into those 50-50 duels and coming out the winner here and there. Saka, God love him. He's been the most encouraging of our forward players outside of Trossard, but again, he needs to come up with a goal. Like, grab that ball, cut in, fire it, top bins, get us 1-0 up, pump the crowd up, let's go. Like, that's the kind of moment we need in this game. So yeah, as you can tell, I'm pretty pumped up for it. It's going to be a big one. I'm going to go with a 2-1 Arsenal win. I think we'll score first. I think we might even go 2-0 up and Villa might get a goal and make it awkward and uneasy, which is something that we're getting pretty used to. But I'm going to go with a 2-1 win, and I'm going to back us to get the job done. So the only kind of cherry on top would be a really kind of comfortable performance where Villa never are really in the equation, or we kind of slap them 4-0. But the win is the most important thing. So yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I want to know what you think the score will be, starting 11, and who your star man might be. All right, guys.